World War II Key Pacific Theater, Kasabs Bata, Solda, Kon Pacific Par Raj Karega, Japan, Jo December 1941 Me Pearl Harbor Attack, Kibad America, Ko Hila, Chukada, Apni AAP, Ko Unstoppable Samaj, Raha, Da, Unki Navy, Japanese Imperial Fleet. Us Same Dunia Ki Sabs, disciplined or Sabs, aggressive naval forces, me say ek thi. Unka Maksad, simple, da America Ko Pacific say dor, dakal dina. Unk aircraft carriers Ko Taba, kar dina. Or ek Isa, defensive ring banana jais tadna kisi nation, ki lai, the mumkin ho. Pearl Harbor ki bod surf kuch mahinmi. Japan ni Asia or Pacific. Mi ek, Kibad ek jaga, capture Kar Li, Philippines, Malaya, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dutch East Indies Har, Side Par Unki Lightning Victories Chow Rahi, Thi, Unki Navy Ka Flagship Plan Da, America Key Remaining Aircraft Carriers Ko Fansa, Kar, Ek Hai, Damin Katam, Kar, Dina, Kyuki. Japan Aki, Terra, Janta, the key modern naval warfare Ka Asli weapon battleship, Nahi, aircraft carrier Ban Chukada, Yahan Par enter Hui America, Kiek Choti, see volcanic island, Midway Atoll, Pacific Ocean, Ki Bilkul, Beach Me Ek strategic jewel, Ye Island America, Ki Lai, Ik unsinkable aircraft carrier Jasa Da, or Japan Ki Lai, Ye Ek trap ya opportunity Dono Ben Sakta Da. May 1940 to me, Japan Ki Sab's brilliant naval strategist, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto ni Ek massive operation plan Kia, Unka vision the Ki Midway Par Bata surprise attack Kark. America Ko Force Kia J Ki Wo Apni carriers Ko Bahar Le or J's high carriers Samandar Mi A Japanese Navy Unhi destroy Kardi Agar Ye plan successful Hota To Pacific Mi America Ki naval power collapse Ho JT war Ka direction completely change Ho Sakta Da Likan Japan Ko Ek Bot Ka Ondaza Nahi The America Unka Secret Plan, Padchuka Da, Pearl Harbor Ki Bod say America Ki Cryptographers Codebreakers, Japanese Naval Code JN-25, Ko Crack Karn Ki Pori Koshish Mi Lage Hutha, Commander Joseph Rockefort, Ki Team Ni Sleepless Nights, Mi Ek Impossible Task Kar Dakaya, Unhone Japanese Messages Ka Pattern, Decode Kia or, Confirm Kia Ki AF. Nam Ka Target. Actually Midway. Haida, yeah, Intelligence Turning Point The. America Key Naval Commander, Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, Ni Ek Impossible Lagna Wali Strategy Banai, Japan Attack, Karaglu. On America Pehol, say Uska. Wait, Karega, Japanese Soshenj Surprise Unka. Hi, Japki Actual Surprise America Daga, USS Enterprise, USS Hornet, or USS Yorktown, Ye Teen Carriers America Key Last Hope The, Yorktown Joe, Battle of Coral Sea, oddly damaged, Ho Chuka Da, use emergency mode, me surf, 70 to Ganton me repair Kark Fur say battle ready Car Dia Gaya, America Key Sailors, Engineers, or mechanics, ni almost superhuman com Kia. End of May 1942. Dono sides, Apni Sabs, dangerous game, Ki Tayari, Kar, Chuki, Thi. Japan 4 powerful carriers, Ki Sath A Raha Da, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu. Hiryu Sab battle hardened or deadly. America quietly Ocean Ki vast blue desert. Mi Apna trap, Lagaraha. May 1942 Key last week's me. Japanese Imperial Navy, Apni Sabs Bata or Sabs Ambitious Naval Strike Group co-assemble Kar Rahi Thi. Unk flagship carriers Akagi, Kaga, Soryu or Hiryu Pacific Key, Thand or Jer Pani, Parek Deadly, Shadow Jays. Move. Kar Rahi. The in carriers, Ki Uper trained air crews, 0 fighters. Dive bombers, or torpedo bombers already battle-tested the Pearl Harbor, Singapore, Dutch East Indies, Japan Ki Har, Victory Me, in pilots, Ka Anmal contribution the Unka confidence sky high. The Unhi Lagta, the Ki America Abi Hai B Shak Mi Hai, Unk Paz Koi, Plan Nahi, Koi Coordination Nahi, Koi Courage Nahi, Admiral Chuichi Nagumo, Joe Carrier Strike Force Co-Lead Car Rehi the Unk Paz Ek Crystal Clear Objective the Midway Co Destroy Caro, America Co Lure Caro, or Unk Carriers Co Crush Car Do, Japan Apni Strength Par, Kora Barossa Kar Raha the Unki Fleet Massive The battleships, cruisers, destroyers, submarines Sab Ek Giant Moving City Ki Terra, Pacific Co Chirt Hu Ag Bad Rehi the Unki Formation Military Discipline Ka Perfect Example The Harship Ek Diagram Ki Terra Precise Distance Maintain Kar Raha the Japanese Naval Cruise Co is wartime choreography Par Garv the Lekan Unhi Ik Bot Ka Slight B Shak Nahi the America Unka Plan Shuru Hon Se Pehol Hai Yan Chuka the Commander Joseph Rockefort or Unki Cryptographic Team Ni Japanese Code JN 25 Key Crucial Fragments Crack Kar Lai the Unko Pada Chel Gaya the Key Japanese Messages Me Frequent On Walla AF. Actually, Midway Atoll Co refer Karta, Hi, Confirmation Key Lai America Ni Ek Smart Trick Use Key, Midway Co Radio Par Fake Message Bay Any, Ko Kahagaya, Fresh Water Supply Failing, Kuch Hai Gantan Mi, Japanese Message Intercept Hua Jizmi Lika, the AF, is short of water, yeah, confirmation the, Midway, Hi, Target, Hi, or Japan Ko Pata, B Nahi, the Ki Unka cover busted Ho Chuka Hai, AB stage set, the Admiral Chester W. Nimitz, Niek Bold or Risky Plan Banaya, Japan Ko Lag Raha, the Ki Unka Surprise Attack Unbeatable Hoga, Par Nimitz Surprise Ko Reverse Karn Whale the USS Enterprise, USS Hornet or severely damaged USS Yorktown Co. Midway Ki Northeast, Me Precisely Position, Kia Gaya, Yahansei American Carriers, Japan Key Carriers, Co Pincer Style Me Attack Car Sakti, the USS Yorktown, Joe Coral Sea Battle, Ki Bod Scrap Ki Edge Par Thi, Us Surf 70 to Ganton, Me Repair Car Dia Gaya, Mechanics, Welders, Electricians Sabna, Bina Son, Kam Kia, Cranes Rot Bar Chalti Rahi, Plates Replace Ki Gay, Aircraft Elevators Fix Ki Gay, Boilers Patch Ki Gay, Koi Guarantee Nahi Thi Ki Ship Battle Survive Karegi, Par America Ko Ek Ship or Ek Chance, Dono Chahida. Meanwhile, Midway Atoll Kud Ek Massive Military Hive Ben Gayada, Sandbags, AA Guns, Bunkers, radar stations, aircraft shelters, Har, Jaga, soldiers, Tayartha, Marine pilots, Army Air Force bombers, Navy reconnaissance planes, Sabihi, Ek Hai Kam Mi Judtha, fight till the last second. June 1, 1942. Pacific Ka Vishal Samandar, Shant, the Leakin Surface, Ki Nich Dono Tariff, Say Ek Invisible Hunt, Shuru Ho Chuki, Theed. Battle of Midway, Ka Sabs Pella, or Sabs, Crucial Phase the Spotting the Enemy First, Jo Fleet Pehol, Enemy Co Locate Kar Lethi, Wahi Pehol, Strike Kar, Sakti, The, or Midway JC Carrier Battle Me Pella Strike, High Aksar Destiny, Decide Karta High, Japan Key Carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu Apni Steady Formation Me, Midway Ki Tariff Move Kar Rehi the Admiral Nagumo, Ko Pora Barossa, the Ki America Ki Fleet Door High, Unka Position Unknown High, or Midway Par Unka Initial Airstrike Unhi Hila Dega, Parek Cheese, Nagumo, Ko Nahi, Padathi, America Ni Unhi Pehol, Hai, Dun na Shuru, Kar, Dia the. Midway Adalki radar operators. Apni screens par continuously sweeping lines. Co-observe Kar Rehi the. Idar America, Kilai Ek game changer the. Japanese Navy radar technology me peach the. Or Unka reliance. Mostly human lookouts par the. Early morning me midway key radar ni kutch blurred metallic signals. Pick kiye ye signals. Aircraft formation, Jasa lag raha the. Jo speed say midway key tariff move car raha the. Midway key lookout towers ni b jab binoculars say deka. To unhi horizon par tiny dots, decay die Japanese aircraft incoming. Marine pilots torrent scramble order par runway key tariff, dodpaid. Fighters mostly outdated Brewster, Buffaloes or Kutch, Wildcats apni limited power, ki bajit sky me euthane lage. Midway key pilots janta the ki unka kam dangerous high. Leakin vo ruck, nahi, sakti the. Leakin at the same time. America ko sabs zayada, zarurat the enemy fleet ko spot karn ki. For this. By Catalina flying boats co deep ocean reconnaissance, Kilai Beha Goya, Bade. Slow or vulnerable aircraft. The Par Unka range Bohat heavy the. Suba 530 Bajek, Catalina ni. Finally, Wahi Dek Lia Jiska. America Intizar Kar Raha, the Japanese transport fleet. Message Midway Co. Transmit Kia Gaya. Many ships heading toward Midway. Ek big clue the. Par still missing piece, the Japan key carriers, Kahan Hain. America Co. carriers Chahi. The Kyunki battle carriers decide Karn Whale the. Transports Nahi. Around 7 o'clock am. Ek or Catalina aircraft ni Samandar, mi Kutch or Dek Lia large wakes. Tight formation or flat top silhouettes. Pilot ni torrent radio par call key. Enemy carriers sighted. Heading east-southeast. Wo moment. The Jahan battle ka momentum first time shift hua. America Co. Finally pada chel Gayaki Japan key carriers. Exactly. Kahan move car Ray He Hain. Admiral Nimitz key command room me torrent coordinates update Hugh. USS Enterprise. USS Hornet or USS Yorktown Yet team carriers AB Apni aircraft squadrons co-ready Karn Lage. Pilots, briefing rooms, me rush car Ray He. The Torpedo Squadron 8, 6, 3. Dive bombers. Wildcat Sab launch sequence Ki Lai, prepare Ho Rehi the. America now new. Japan Yahin, Kahi, Hai, strike window, Shoro Ho. June 4, 1940 to Kisuba. Midway Adalpar tension, almost electricity, Kitera, Hawa, Mi Bari Huithi. Radar operators, Marines, Army Air Forces key pilots Harp, Koi, Ik Haibat, Ka Intizar, Kar, Raha Da. Japanese attack wave. Wave Pacific. Key history me Sabs, dangerous or Sabs, experienced naval aviators, say Bani Thi. Pearl Harbor me G's precision or brutality, ka display hua da. Ajwahi midway ki tariff, aa raha da. 6 o'clock am. Ki bod radar ni approaching aircraft formation. Ko clearly detect car Leah. Many bogies, 150 plus. Bearing 320. Alert sirens Torrent Island par Gunj Yuthi. Anti-aircraft cruise guns par jump car gay. Pilots bunkers say Nikol car runway, ki tariff Bajan, Lage. Midway ka sky, ek giant battleground ban Walada. Admiral Nagumo ki strike force 0 fighters. Val dive bombers, or Kate torpedo bombers tight formation me. Midway ki tariff, steep dive, cart hu uter rehi the. Japanese air groups highly coordinated the. Pearl Harbor key veterans unme the. Midway unk lai ek simple assault. Lag raha, the par ground say miln wali. Resistance. Unki expectation. Say Zayada tough hone wali thi. Midway key outdated. Brewster Buffalo fighters or Wildcats need desperate defense start Kia. Buffaloes slow the lightly armored the or Zero's key against almost powerless. Fur B pilots, ni courage dikaya. Kuch seconds ka hai, sahi. Parvo Japanese bombers, key formation, Todni ki koshish, cart, rehi. Kuch planes flames me convert hue. Kuch ocean me crash hue par unhone time by Kia. Joki Island defense, ki lai, priceless tha. Japanese dive bombers midway par almost surgical precision say attack car rehi the. Buildings shake hone lage. Fuel tanks, hangars, radar stations sab-targeted the. Explosions, har tariff. Black smoke sky me thick clouds ben rahi thi. Marines bunkers say AA guns kala rehi the. Flak bursts sky me black flowers ki terra fat rehi the. Zeros un flak bursts ki beach me jukti udti apni bombers ko escort car rahi thi. Ik val dive bomber ni low altitude par occur midway's main runway ko directly hit Kia. Runway kaak large section blast say crack hoga ya. Do or bombs maintenance sheds par gyre. Firefighters torrent action me in flames uncontrollable thi. Fur B. Midway key soldiers knee position nahi chodi. Midway key ground based. B-26 or B-17 bombers B retaliatory attack ki lai ready hue. Unhi order dia gaya. Find the Japanese carriers and strike. Ya aircraft. Japanese fleet tak pahunchin ki lai. Take off car gay although survival chances extremely low. But mission ka nature be extreme the. Japan ko laga ki unka attack perfect chow raha hai. Par 1 detail unhi confuse car rahi thi. Midway say abi hai b aircraft launch ho rehi the. Yeah unusual. The. Midway ko unhone zyada damage dia. Par runway ko completely disable nahi car pay. Yeah mistake crucial thi. Nagumo AB next step. Ki bear me sak raha the. Second strike on midway. Yeah. Aircraft armament change kark American fleet ki lai prepare. June 4, 1940 to Kisuba, Japanese flagship. Akagi key flight deck or bridge par ek tension-filled silence. Fela hua the. Admiral Chuichi Nagumo, seasoned commander. Undinan ko aki terra samaged. The Jahan Second's poor fleets ka future decide kart hain. Suba ka first strike midway par launch ho chuka the. Par ab unk somni ek aisa decision the jai's naval history. Me, Ragmo's dilemma. Kahajata, high. Japanese attack groups ni midway ko heavy damage dia. Par complete destruction nahi. Runways abi high b functional. The, or midway say aircraft takeoff, cart, yarehi. The yek unexpected complication the. Iska matlab the. Midway ko new relies karna abi high, baki high. Leakin isai wakt reconnaissance report ni dek par sabko. Freeze car, dia. Enemy ship sighted. Exact details unclear. The. Surf Itna, Pata, the Ki-US Navy key warships, Midway key Paz, Mojid, Ho Sakti, Hain. Nagumo ki Somni do contradictory choices. The. Option 1. Midway par second strike launch kara. Iska matlab da ki jo aircraft abi high Japan key carriers par refuel or rearm ho rehi the. Unhi fur say midway targeted bombs say load kia j. Leakin is carriers temporarily vulnerable ho jate. Or are American carriers approaching hot? Japan ko bilkul b prepared nahi milta. Option 2. Aircraft ko anti-ship loadout par switch karo. Yeah risky the. Kyunki aircraft abi high runway par parked the. Fuel lines connected the. Or bombs scattered the. Immediate rearmament ka matlab the deck par chaos. Open fuel lines, or extreme vulnerability. Ek bomb strike or sab kuch blast hojata. Li confer b American fleet ko engage karna zeruri the. Nagumo ni initially reports ko incomplete samja. Us laga ki enemy ships Shiad small task groups honj. To unhone order dia. Midway ki lai second strike prepare karo. Deck par bomb handlers. Midway strike. Bombs co-fighter. Or dive bomb racks par mount karna start kar chuk the. Fuel lines connected crews sweating in humid morning heat. Aircraft wings folded, reloading crews rushing deck ek madhouse benchuka da. Fur ek or report aye. Enemy carriers likely present. Ye report sab kutch Badal dedi high. Midway key runway say zeros co-interceptors, ki terra, kam karna pad raha da. Bombers co-anti-ship loadout me shift karna pad raha da. Nagumo ni ab apna decision reverse kia. Rearm for anti-ship operations. AB carriers par ultimate chaos create hua. Pehol midway bombs lag rahitha. AB unhi remove kia ya raha da. Unka jaga torpedoes or armor piercing bombs lane the. Fuel lines still open. Bombs ab high B deck par scattered. Japanese Navy coordination world class the. Parage timing unk against Yarahi the. Uzi Wakt American torpedo bombers. Kapella wave unhi approach. Kar raha the unhi koi nahi janta the. Koi nahi deck raha the. Par kuch high minutes. Me, ye low altitude aircraft. Japanese carriers ki upper hell unleash Karn whale the. June 4, 1942. Around 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Ocean Key Beach. Japanese carriers ki aas pause ek deceptive kamda. Flight decks par aircraft ab high B rearming process me the fuel lines kuli huit. Bomb stacked. Torpedoes half mounted. Japanese crew frantic pace me kam kar rehi the. Unhi lag raha da ki American fleet ab high B door high. Shiad hours away. Leakin reality kutch, or Haithi. USS Hornet, USS Enterprise. Or USS Yorktown say America key torpedo squadrons skyme lift ho chukta. Unplanes co low altitude heroes, mana jata high. Yeah aircraft slow the. Weakly armored, the. Or Japanese zeros key against almost suicidal odds. Me the. Saps Pella wave that torpedo squadron 8. VT-8 USS Hornet key TBD devastators. Unk Commander Lieutenant Commander John Waldron. Briefing me, hi. Warning D Chuk. The. Enemy carriers northwest me honj. Unhi wahi milange. Unki prediction 100% accurate. The. VT-8 ni jab carriers co-spot kia. To pilot cud, shocked ho gay. Kari Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Bilkul, Unk, Somni Pacific ki blue canvas par move, kar rehi the. Par untak pahunkna. Almost impossible. The. Devastators, Bahut. Slow the. Or Japanese zeros. Joe Midway strike ki bod wapas aa chuk the. AB sky me swarm kar rehi the fresh fuel, fresh ammo, and deadly accuracy. VT-8 ni attack. Run shuru kia. No fighter escort. No high altitude cover. Surf low level torpedo approach. Japanese fleet ni unhi miles door say spot kar lia. Zeros unk upper hawk ki terra dive karn lage. Ek. Do. Teen. Devastators flames me badown lage. Pilots crash ho rehi. The. Gunners desperately zeros co-target kar rehi the. Par unki, 30 caliber guns. Almost useless the. Leakin VT-8 ni attack run nahi chota. Unhoned torpedoes arm ki a or carriers ki tarif cd flight maintain key. Sab 15 aircraft me say 14 shoot down ho gay. Only one survivor ensign. George Gay water me crash hone. Ki bod apni seat cushion ki peach chup. Car fight ko dekta raha. VT-8 key torpedoes, ek B hit nahi car pay. Par unka sacrifice battle ka, turning point ben walada. Because, Japanese zeros, Jo low altitude torpedo planes ko destroy karn me busy ho gaitha. Unsec critical mistake ho gayi. Unhone apni defensive altitude ka advantage ko dia. AB sky ka upper layer completely open. The. Upper high altitude me American dive bomber groups. Enterprise or Yorktown key SBD. Dauntless squadrons clouds key peach say. Silently approach Kar Rehi the. Unk commanders Wade McCluskey or Max Leslie. Apney formations co-perfect strike angle. Takla ya Reihi, the Japanese fleet ka sky defense low par busy, flight decks, bombs or fuel say loaded, recon planes delayed, coordination broken, or Upper say death, silently dive, Kar Rahi Thi. VT-8 Ka, sacrifice Japanese fleet par, ik invisible doorway, Kol Chuka Da. Isai doorway Jahan say America, ki most decisive attack, Ab Gurn Wali Thi. Carriers apne maximum vulnerability par Kade the. Decks par bombs, torpedoes, fuel hoses, refilled aircraft. Rearming crews sab ek explosive maze, ki terra, fela hua da, or isai walked sky, ki upper clouds, say ek silent storm descend kar raha da. Torpedo Squadron 8, 6, or 3 key sequential attacks, ni Japanese zeros, konich, drag kar dia da. Carriers apne full anti-air defense altitude, lose kar chuk the. Airspace ka upper layer completely exposed the. Or is's exposed layer say America key victory, on Wali Thi. USS Enterprise key dive bomber commander. Wade McCluskey apne formation, ki south clouds me dark blue. Pacific par wide circles, draw kar rehi the. Unka fuel dangerously low. The Agar Unhi Japanese fleet Nahi Milti To Unk planes ocean me ditch ho jate Parma Kluski ni ek small clue notice Kia ek Japanese destroyer Arashi full speed par jate hu Wo destroyer actually ek US submarine copper suit Kar Rahada McCluskey ni torrent realize Kia destroyer apne fleet co rejoin Kar Raha high follow it. Orya decision history ka most important battlefield instinct ben gaya. Jab dauntless dive bombers, ni clouds say niche, descend Kia. To unk niche ek jaw dropping sight. The Japanese carriers Akagi, Kaga, or Soryu Bilkul, beach me, expose Padhida. No zeros in altitude. No coordinated defense. Decks overloaded with bombs, fuel, aircraft. McCluskey ni shout Kia, attack Kaga, Leakin squadron me confusion hua, Kai pilots, Kaga ki tariff, dive car, gay, Jis Akagi temporarily unguarded rega ya, dive bombers ni 70-degree key angle, say apne, dauntless aircraft co almost vertical dive par push Kia, wind screaming, bomb release countdown, buzzing in their ears. Kaga's destruction. Kaga par first bomb ek fuel loaded aircraft, ki pause, laga. Dusra bomb hangar deck. Mi fata. Tisra bomb fuel lines or torpedoes ki pile par gur gaya. Ek second ki lie silence. Fur ek giant fireball carrier ko shake kar dia. Flames deck say 100 meters upper, tak shoot huat. Kaga death trap ben chuka da. Akagi's fate. Commander Lieutenant Dick Best. Or Unki Choti 3 plane team. Akagi par dive kar rehi the. Bestni perfect dive. Execute. Kia. Unka 1000 pound bomb. Directly flight deck ki center mi jira. Exactly. Jahan bombs. Or fueled aircraft stack the. X single hit ni pora carrier cripple kar dia. Akagi ka control lost hua. Dex blaze me convert ho gay. Soryu ignites. USS Yorktown key dive bombers Soryu par descend hu. 3 direct hits. Hangars explode. Fuel tanks rupture. Soryu key and our chain reaction Shuru hua ek blast. Ki bod dusra blast. Within 5 minutes surf 5 minutes 3 of Japan's elite carriers burning, exploding and dying. The Pearl Harbor key architects, Japan key most powerful naval assets. AB Pacific, ki beach me inferno, ben chuk the. Surf ek carrier, Bacha, the Hiryu. Or Hiryu AB apne, full fury America, par unleash karn wali the. The hours leading up to the decisive clash over Midway were filled with the tense, almost suffocating silence. On both sides of the Pacific, fleets maneuvered carefully, each commander trying to anticipate the other's next move. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto believed that the American carriers would be lured into his trap, arriving late and confused. But he was wrong because the Americans already knew everything. Thanks to the codebreakers at Station Hypo, Admiral Chester Nimitz had arranged his forces exactly where they needed to be. The island of Midway had been transformed into a fortified spear pointed outward into the ocean. Every pilot and gun crew on the atoll understood what was coming. Some had written final letters home the night before, aware that this battle might decide not only their fate, but the future course of the entire Pacific War. On the Japanese side, the atmosphere was different, confident, almost celebratory. The carriers Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu sailed in tight formation. Their airgroups were considered the finest in the world. Veterans of the attacks on Pearl Harbor, Singapore, and the Indian Ocean, many Japanese pilots believed that no air force on Earth could match their skill or discipline. They viewed Midway as the next stepping stone in a chain of victories that would stretch across the Pacific. Yet beneath this confidence was a subtle but dangerous flaw. The operation was overly complicated, involving multiple fleets spread across thousands of miles. Yamamoto's plan relied on perfect coordination, secrecy, and surprise, three things that no longer existed. The Americans had decoded his intentions long before his ships even left harbor. Still, as dawn approached, the Japanese carriers prepared their aircraft for the first strike on Midway. Deck crews worked quickly, loading bombs and fueling planes. The smell of aviation gasoline filled the air. The rising sun cast long shadows across the flight decks, illuminating rows of fighters, dive bombers, and torpedo planes waiting to roar into the sky. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, American carriers Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown steamed in silence. Their crews stood ready, listening to radios, waiting for the moment when Midway's outpost would send the first report of Japanese aircraft approaching. On the flight deck of the Enterprise, pilots gathered around their squadron leaders, receiving final instructions. They knew their odds were slim. Many expected never to return, but they also understood that failing to stop the Japanese here would leave Hawaii and perhaps the entire American West Coast vulnerable. Before sunrise, Midway's lookout post scanned the horizon. The soft glow of the morning sky reflected off the water. Birds circled overhead. Then, suddenly, radar operators detected movement, large formations heading directly toward the island. The calm was over. The storm had arrived. The Japanese first wave assault roared toward Midway just after sunrise. More than 100 aircraft fighters, dive bombers, and high-level bombers flew in tight formation, engines screaming as they cut across the open sky. Their mission was simple: crush Midway's defenses, destroy its airfields, and clear the way for an invasion. But they were not unchallenged. Midway's radar stations had already detected them, and American fighters scrambled to intercept. The F-4F Wildcats and the outmatched Buffaloes climbed with all the power their engines could muster, but most pilots knew they were heading into a storm they might not survive. They were outnumbered, outclassed, and flying inferior aircraft. Yet they pushed on, determined to slow the enemy advance, even if it cost their lives. Moments later, the sky above Midway exploded into chaos. Japanese Zero fighters swooped down with brutal precision, tearing into the American defenders. Planes spiraled out of the sky, trailing smoke as the Zeros cut through the formation. Still, the U.S. pilots fought with desperate courage. Some rammed straight into enemy bombers. Others pressed attacks even when their guns jammed or their wings were riddled with bullet holes. Despite the Americans' efforts, the Japanese bombers reached the island. Their dive bombers peeled away, plunging toward Midway at terrifying angles. Bombs whistled through the air before exploding across fuel depots, barracks, and airstrips. Fireballs erupted, sending thick black smoke into the sky. Buildings shook, sand blasted into the air, and shockwaves rippled across the island. Anti-aircraft batteries responded with a fury. Dozens of guns opened fire, filling the sky with a wall of bursting shells. The defenders aimed blindly at the oncoming swarms, hoping to hit anything they could. And they did. Several Japanese bombers were struck mid-dive, disintegrating in fiery bursts before reaching their targets. Others crashed into the ocean, leaving behind trails of black smoke as they spiraled downward. Inside command bunkers, officers shouted orders over the sound of explosions. Radio operators relayed coordinates desperately. Medics sprinted between burning structures, pulling the wounded to safety while avoiding falling debris. The entire island felt as if it were being ripped apart, yet even amidst the destruction, something critical happened. Midway survived. Though damaged, its runways remained usable. Fuel reserves were hurt, but not lost. The Japanese strike commander, Lieutenant Commander Tominaga, realized he had failed to completely neutralize the island's defenses. His report to the carriers was clear and fatal. Another strike is required. As the Japanese airstrike retreated from Midway, American aircraft from the island continued their desperate attacks, but none had managed to land a decisive blow. Now, the responsibility shifted to the carrier-based air group's pilots who had been waiting for the order that could change the fate of the Pacific. That order came shortly before 7 o'clock a.m. Launch all available aircraft. From the decks of USS Enterprise, USS Hornet, and USS Yorktown, dozens of planes roared into the sky. Among them were the slow, vulnerable, and heartbreakingly brave crews of Torpedo Squadron 8 VT-8. Torpedo Squadron 6 VT-6, and Torpedo Squadron 3 VT-3. Their outdated TBD Devastators were flying into what would become one of the most tragic yet heroic chapters in naval aviation history. Their orders were simple, but deadly. Fly low, attack the enemy carriers, drop torpedoes at close range. Survive if possible, but survival was unlikely. As the torpedo squadrons approached the Japanese fleet, they were greeted not by a single carrier, but by a wall of destruction. Dozens of Zero fighters patrolled the skies, and they dove on the low-flying American torpedo planes with ruthless precision. The Devastators were too slow to evade, too fragile to withstand hits, and too low to escape. Yet the American pilots pressed forward. Torpedo Squadron 8, led by Lieutenant Commander John Waldron, was the first to make contact. Waldron had broken formation hours earlier, convinced he knew the correct location of the Japanese fleet. His instincts were right. His squadron found the enemy, but the enemy found them too. One by one, VT-80's planes were shot down. Pilots tried to weave, to drop altitude, to get into position for a clean torpedo run, but the Japanese fighters were relentless. Within minutes, all 15 planes of Torpedo Squadron 8 were destroyed. Only one man survived, Ensign George Gay, who floated in the ocean watching the battle unfold. Despite the massacre of VT-8, the other torpedo squadrons did not turn back. Torpedo Squadron 6 arrived next. Their Devastators attempted to break through the fighter screen, but the Zeros tore through them as well. Many were shot down before they could release a single torpedo. Then came Torpedo Squadron 3, pushing forward against impossible odds. Their planes were shredded by gunfire, engines burning, wings disintegrating. Still, they dove toward the enemy carriers, determined to complete their mission. By the end of the torpedo assaults, more than 36 of the 41 torpedo bombers had been destroyed. Dozens of pilots and gunners gave their lives, and in return, they scored no successful torpedo hits. On paper, the torpedo squadrons had failed, but in reality, they had accomplished something extraordinary. Their sacrifice dragged the Japanese defensive fighters down to sea level, pulled them away from the sky above, and spread chaos across the carrier decks. The enemy formation became disorganized, their Zeros low on fuel. High above the Pacific, far beyond the chaos that had consumed the American torpedo squadrons, the dive bombers of Enterprise and Yorktown searched the endless ocean for the Japanese fleet. Many of the pilots were frustrated, exhausted, and dangerously low on fuel. They had flown for hours through broken cloud layers, navigating by instinct and luck. For a moment, it seemed as if the search might fail, but then, just before 10:20 a.m., through a break in the clouds, Lieutenant Commander Clarence McCluskey spotted something: a lone Japanese destroyer, racing at high speed. The ship was far away from its group, speeding north as if it were chasing someone, or returning from something. McCluskey trusted his instincts. He made a decision that would shape world history. Follow that destroyer. The gamble paid off. Minutes later, the clouds parted, and there spread across the shimmering blue Pacific lay the heart of the Japanese strike force, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, 3 of the 4 carriers that had bombed Pearl Harbor. Their decks were crowded with aircraft being refueled and rearmed. Bombs were stacked around the planes. Fuel lines snaked across the planks. It was the most vulnerable moment a carrier could ever be caught in, and they never saw the Americans coming. As McCluskey's VB-6 and Versus 6 from USS Enterprise took position, the pilots steadied their nerves. Thousands of feet below, the enemy fleet moved in perfect formation, unaware that death was about to fall from the sky. The dive bombers aligned themselves with the sun behind them, hidden, silent, deadly. The order came through the radio. Pilots, attack. The sky erupted. Dozens of SPD Dauntless dive bombers rolled into steep, screaming dives. Airframe rivets shook violently. Winds howled against their canopies as they plummeted at terrifying angles. The Japanese finally spotted them, but it was already too late. Kaga was hit first. 3 bombs slammed into her flight deck. The impact ignited the refueling lines and munitions already on deck. A massive fireball roared upward, engulfing the carrier in a tower of flame. Pilots and deck crews were thrown overboard as the ship burned uncontrollably. Next came Akagi, the flagship of the Pearl Harbor Strike Group. Lieutenant Dick Best led his squadron in a perfect attack run. A single bomb dropped with pinpoint accuracy pierced the flight deck, exploded in the hangar, and ignited rows of fully armed aircraft. In moments, Akagi was transformed into a floating inferno. Meanwhile, Yorktown's dive bombers struck Soryu, bombed her through her decks, blowing apart her hangars. Flames erupted instantly, swallowing aircraft and fuel stores. Within minutes, Soryu was ablaze from bow to stern. 3 Japanese carriers, 3 symbols of naval dominance, were crippled in 5 minutes. The Japanese fleet was thrown into panic. Destroyers weaved frantically to avoid wreckage. Aircraft attempting to take off were blown into the sea. The devastation of Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu sent shockwaves through the Japanese fleet, but the battle was far from finished. 1 carrier still remained operational, Hiryu, the Flying Dragon. Her decks were intact. Her pilots were some of Japan's finest, and her commander, Rear Admiral Taman Yamaguchi, was determined to strike back with every ounce of strength he had left. As smoke from the burning carriers rose like black storm clouds across the horizon, Hiryu's flight crews prepared for a counterattack. They worked with lightning speed, arming dive bombers and torpedo planes with the last of the ship's munitions. There was no hesitation, no panic, only grim determination. They knew their navy was being hammered, and they understood that they alone might be able to turn the tide. At around 10:50 am, Hiryu launched her first wave. A group of elite dive bombers led by Lieutenant Michio Kobayashi. Their target was the American carrier force still spread across the sky. In a wide search pattern, the Japanese pilots climbed into the sun, then descended upon the USS Yorktown with terrifying precision. Yorktown's radar detected them early, giving the American carrier's crew a crucial warning. Anti-aircraft guns roared to life. The ship began violent evasive maneuvers, twisting and turning across the sea. Fighters from the Yorktown Air Group scrambled to intercept, but the Japanese dive bombers, veterans from earlier campaigns, broke through the defenses. At 12 p.m., they struck. The first bomb smashed through Yorktown's flight deck, exploding in the hangar below. Fire burst through the ship, sending shockwaves that knocked sailors off their feet. Smoke poured from the open wounds in the carrier's hull, but American damage control crews were among the best in the world. They raced across the decks, sealing compartments, extinguishing flames, and restoring power. Within an hour, Yorktown, though bleeding and battered, was somehow still afloat, still operational, still in the fight. But Hiryu was not done. Admiral Yamaguchi immediately launched his second wave, this time sending torpedo bombers to finish the job. These aircraft flew dangerously low over the water, threading through anti-aircraft fire as they closed in on Yorktown. The carrier's gunners fought with everything they had, filling the air with bursts of flak. Some torpedo planes were shot down, others broke formation, but enough survived. 2 torpedoes struck Yorktown on her port side. The explosions were devastating. Bulkheads crumpled, engines failed, and water rushed into the hull. The ship lurched violently, listing hard as her crew struggled to keep her upright. Captain Elliot Buckmaster gave the order to abandon ship, fearing she would capsize. As sailors slid down ropes into the sea, Yorktown, one of the 3 American carriers at Midway, fell silent, drifting helplessly. Hiryu had landed a powerful blow, but the Japanese didn't yet realize that they had. The Pacific Ocean boiled with smoke and wreckage as 3 Japanese carriers burned in the distance, sending towering black pillars skyward. But for the Americans, the battle wasn't over because Hiryu, the last operational Japanese carrier, was still out there, still launching attacks, still dangerously capable. Admiral Raymond Spruance, now commanding the American carrier force after the losses to Yorktown, understood the urgency. Hiryu had struck a crippling blow, and if left unchecked, she could strike again. The Americans needed to locate her immediately and destroy her before sunset. The task fell to the battered but unbroken air groups of Enterprise and Hornet. By early afternoon, scouts combed the ocean, searching through haze and drifting smoke. Pilots scanned the waves with sharp eyes, knowing somewhere below them was the lone surviving predator of the Japanese strike force. Every man understood the stakes. If Hiryu escaped, she would live to fight another day, and the Japanese Empire would retain a crucial piece of its naval power. At around 3:00 p.m., an Enterprise scout plane finally sighted her. There she was, Hiryu, sailing defiantly through the chaos, her flight deck clear, her crews preparing for yet another strike. Even as her sister carriers burned, Hiryu kept moving, her captain pushing the ship to its limits. The moment the sighting report reached Enterprise, pilots ran to their aircraft. Mechanics hurried to attach bombs. Squadron leaders briefed their men with quick, sharp instructions. There was no time to waste. Within minutes, a strike force of SBD Dauntless dive bombers lifted into the sky, engines roaring, wings glinting in the late afternoon sun. These pilots had already endured hours of combat, exhaustion, and uncertainty, but now, adrenaline washed everything else away. They climbed to attack altitude, then banked hard toward the coordinates of the Japanese carrier. As they approached, they could see Hiryu below her decks busy, her crew attempting to launch another wave. Japanese lookouts spotted the incoming Dauntlesses and raised the alarm. Anti-aircraft guns thundered, peppering the sky with black bursts of shrapnel. The American dive bombers maneuvered through the flak, turning their planes into the sun. One pilot muttered a brief prayer, another whispered the name of his wife. Then the order came, dive, dive, dive. The Dauntlesses dropped into steep, stomach-wrenching dives, shrieking toward the carrier below. Their wings vibrated violently, their altimeters spun downward with terrifying speed. Tracers zipped past their cockpits as Hiryu's gun crews fired every weapon they had. The first bomb struck Hiryu's flight deck with massive explosions. Fire erupted instantly, consuming aircraft lined up for launch. Another bomb tore through the forward hangar, igniting fuel lines and ammunition. The explosions cascaded through the ship, blowing apart bulkheads, engulfing compartments, turning the sea. Night settled slowly over the Pacific, casting long shadows across the burning remains of the Japanese carrier force, the once mighty strike group that had terrorized the Pacific for 6 months. Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and now Hiryu lay crippled, burning, or sinking beneath the waves. But the battle was still not done. Darkness brought its own dangers, its own challenges, and its own haunting silence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, American pilots returning from the attack on Hiryu faced one last deadly obstacle, finding their carriers in the dark. Fuel gauges were nearly empty. Some engines coughed and sputtered. The ocean below was pitch black, blending with the night sky. Many pilots feared they would have to ditch into the water, but the crews of Enterprise and Hornet refused to abandon their men. They broke strict wartime protocol and turned on searchlights and deck lights, creating glowing runways in the darkness so their aircraft could find their way home. One by one, the SBD Dauntlesses, and Wildcats limped back, landing on their carriers with shredded wings, bullet-riddled fuselages, and nearly empty tanks. Some planes crashed on landing, skidding across the decks. Others ditched nearby and were pulled from the water by rescue teams. The Americans had won the day, but the night was still a battle for survival. Meanwhile, the Japanese fleet was in chaos. Flames from the crippled carriers illuminated the ocean for miles. The sea was filled with oil slicks and debris. Sailors clung to rafts or drifted in life jackets as their ships burned behind them. For many, the sounds of cracking steel, exploding fuel stores, and collapsing decks echoed like a funeral dirge over the dark water. On Hiryu, Admiral Taman Yamaguchi and Captain Tomio Kaku made a fateful decision. Despite offers to abandon ship, they chose to remain aboard with their wounded and dying crew members. Yamaguchi believed it was his duty to share the fate of his ship and his men. As flames consumed Hiryu, he stood calmly on the bridge, refusing rescue. His last words were said to be, "I will stay here with the boys." Farther away, the Japanese battleships and cruisers attempted to regroup. Admiral Yamamoto, still determined to salvage something from the catastrophe, briefly considered launching a night attack on the American fleet. His battleships and heavy cruisers had the power to destroy the American carriers in close combat, but the risks were enormous. His forces were scattered, disorganized, and exhausted, and the Americans were alert, fresh from victory, and now reinforced with aircraft returning safely. Yamamoto reluctantly ordered his fleet to withdraw. The Japanese destroyers stayed behind to rescue survivors drifting among the wreckage. The night was eerily calm, except for the crackling fires still burning on the ruined carriers. The silhouettes of Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu slowly faded as they slipped beneath the ocean. Hiryu. When the first light of dawn crept across the Pacific on June 5, 1942, the ocean revealed a scene unlike anything the world had ever witnessed. The smoke that had cloaked the battlefield through the night thinned slowly, exposing the shattered remains of what had once been the pride of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Only one major Japanese ship still burned, Hiryu, the final carrier to fall. Throughout the night, she had drifted helplessly, flames roaring through her decks. By sunrise, she was nothing more than a gutted silhouette. Her once fierce air group was gone, her engines silent. Japanese destroyers pulled alongside the dying carrier and rescued survivors. But when no hope remained, scuttling charges were set. Shortly after sunrise, Hiryu slipped beneath the waves, taking her admiral, her captain, and scores of loyal sailors with her. The last of the 4 Japanese carriers was gone. The heart of the Japanese striking force, destroyed in a single day. The Americans remained cautious. Admiral Spruance, commanding the task force after Yorktown's damage, knew the Japanese fleet still had powerful battleships and cruisers that might attempt a desperate counterattack. He refused to be lured into an ambush and kept his fleet at a safe distance, conserving aircraft and preparing for any surprise. But the Japanese were no longer capable of striking back. Their carefully planned operation had collapsed. Their naval aviation strength, the same force that had destroyed Pearl Harbor, was shattered. Their pilots, the world's most skilled and experienced, were gone, killed, burned, drowned, or drifting among oil-slicked waves. For the Americans, the dawn brought relief and the gravity of what they had achieved. Out at sea, the damaged USS Yorktown still refused to die. Listing heavily to port, she drifted slowly, even as the Japanese carriers slipped beneath the waves. One more American tragedy was unfolding. The USS Yorktown, the heroic carrier that had survived Coral Sea and fought ferociously at Midway, drifted helplessly across the Pacific. She had taken bombs, torpedoes, and unimaginable punishment, yet still remained afloat, a testament to her crew's skill, courage, and instinct for survival. But fate had one more trial in store. As rescue crews struggled to stabilize the wounded ship, Japanese submarine I-168 silently crept toward the area. The submarine's commander, Lieutenant Commander Yahachi Tanabe, had been searching through the massive debris fields for any opportunity to strike back. Now, he found it. Through his periscope, Tanabe spotted a cluster of American destroyers circled around a listing carrier, Yorktown. Even crippled, she was a valuable target. The submarine maneuvered into position, threading through the protective screen. At 1:35 p.m. on June 6, I-168 unleashed a deadly spread of torpedoes. The first torpedo struck the destroyer USS Hammond, which had been tied alongside Yorktown, providing power for pumps and repairs. The explosion split Hammond in two, sending her to the bottom in minutes. Depth charges stored on her decks detonated underwater, killing many sailors struggling to survive. Another torpedo tore into Yorktown's hull, flooding compartments the crew had fought tirelessly to protect. The carrier heeled sharply, her wounded frame groaning under the pressure. Damage control crews still refused to give up, sealing compartments, patching holes, fighting to keep her alive. But the ocean was relentless. For nearly a full day, Yorktown drifted in silence as the American fleet withdrew to safety. The men who had served on her watched from nearby ships, hearts heavy. She had fought with defiance until the very end. In the early morning hours of June 7, Yorktown finally succumbed. Her stern rose out of the water, bow aimed toward the deep. For a moment, she seemed to pause one last look at the sky she had defended so fiercely. Then she slipped beneath the waves. The Pacific closed over her like a grave, leaving only ripples where one of America's most heroic carriers had stood. Though her loss stung deeply, Yorktown's sacrifice had not been in vain. Her aircraft had played a vital role in the destruction of the Japanese fleet. Her crew had shown unmatched discipline and bravery, and her stubborn endurance had confused Japanese pilots into believing multiple carriers were still operational, a mistake that helped turn the tide of battle. With Yorktown gone, the sea finally fell quiet. The Japanese Navy, reeling from the shock of losing 4 front-line carriers, began a full retreat toward home waters. Admiral Yamamoto, who had envisioned a grand trap that would end American naval power, now faced the bitter reality. The trap had snapped shut on his own fleet. As the Battle of Midway pressed into its final decisive hours, the Pacific Ocean trembled under the echo of explosions, rising smoke, and the unrelenting hum of carrier aircraft. For the Japanese Navy, once considered unstoppable, this moment became a turning point, one where confidence slowly shifted into disbelief. And for the United States, it was the moment when courage, timing, and intelligence converged into one of the greatest naval victories in history. By the time the sun touched the mid-afternoon sky on June 4, 1942, 3 of Japan's frontline fleet carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, were burning catastrophically. These ships were the pride of the Imperial Japanese Navy, veterans of Pearl Harbor, and symbols of Tokyo's dominance across the Pacific. The loss of even one would have been significant, but losing 3 in a span of minutes was unimaginable. It was not just defeat, it was disaster. Yet the battle was not over. Japan still had one remaining operational carrier, Hiryu the Flying Drag, under the command of the bold and sharp-thinking Rear Admiral Yamaguchi Taman. Hiryu launched 2 aggressive counter-strikes that managed to hit the American carrier USS Yorktown. Yorktown was badly damaged, listing to one side, her engines struggling, her crew performing miracles simply to keep the ship afloat. But even in distress, Yorktown continued to fight. It was a testament to American grit. This was not a vessel that surrendered easily. Still, despite Hiryu's brave resistance, the tide had already turned beyond recovery. High above the ocean, American dauntless dive bombers raced toward the Japanese carrier, guided by skill, instinct, and the lessons of their earlier successful strikes. Their target was clear. Hiryu had to be neutralized before it inflicted further damage. As the bombers descended from the sky, the crew aboard Hiryu scrambled for survival. Anti-aircraft guns roared defiantly, filling the sky with dark clouds of flak. But the American pilots pressed on. They had seen the devastation they had inflicted earlier in the day. They knew what one accurate hit could do, and they intended to deliver more than one. 3 bombs found their mark. The first tore through the forward deck, igniting aircraft loaded with fuel. The second plunged deeper, triggering secondary explosions in the hangar. And the third ensured the carrier would never launch another plane again. Within minutes, Hiryu was engulfed in flames, its decks melting, its planes collapsing, its engines silenced. The flying dragon had fallen. Admiral Yamaguchi, faced with a burning ship and a doomed fate, refused evacuation. He chose to go down with his carrier, honoring the traditional code of the Imperial Navy. His final words to his staff officer were calm and dignified: "You go, I will stay." And with Hiryu's destruction, Japan's offensive power at Midway came to an end. By the dawn of June 5, 1942, the seas around Midway were littered with burning wreckage, drifting lifeboats, oil slicks, and the fading echoes of one of the most decisive battles in naval history. The Pacific, once dominated by the relentless advance of the Imperial Japanese Navy, now carried a different message, a message carved by courage, intelligence, and sacrifice. The United States had struck a blow so powerful that it shifted the balance of the entire war. But the battle was not yet finished. Even with 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, obliterated, the U.S. Navy still faced cleanup operations, rescue missions, and the elimination of the remaining Japanese vessels attempting to retreat. Destroyers and cruisers combed the waters, hunting survivors and assessing damage. The ocean remained dangerous, unpredictable, and soaked in the remnants of 2 great naval forces clashing for control of the Pacific. The Japanese fleet, shocked and disoriented, withdrew under the cover of darkness. Admiral Yamamoto, who once envisioned Midway as the final blow that would force America to negotiate peace, realized the truth: the battle was lost, and the consequences would echo far beyond this moment. His dream of overwhelming dominance had shattered. The high command in Tokyo, once overflowing with confidence, now faced an uncertain and sobering future. On the American side, the mood was a mixture of triumph and grief. USS Yorktown, which had fought with unparalleled resilience, finally succumbed to damage inflicted earlier by Japanese aircraft and the torpedoes of submarine I-168. She rolled slowly, proudly, and then slipped beneath the waves, taking with her the memories of brave aviators and sailors who had given everything. Yet Yorktown's sacrifice was not in vain. Her final moments symbolized the resolve of a nation unwilling to surrender, a nation ready to rise from the ashes of Pearl Harbor, and a nation prepared to confront the Axis powers with renewed strength. Back at Midway itself, the atoll's defenders, pilots, mechanics, radio operators, and ground crews stood in quiet reflection. Many had fought against overwhelming odds, some in outdated aircraft, some with little training, yet all with the determination to protect their homeland. Their contribution was vital, their courage undeniable. As news of the victory spread across the United States, it uplifted the spirits of millions. Headlines declared Midway as the turning point of the Pacific War. Historians would later confirm this truth. Never again would Japan mount a major offensive in the Central Pacific. Their carrier force, previously unmatched, had been crippled beyond repair. For the United States, Midway unlocked a door to new possibilities. From this moment forward, American forces would transition from defensive operations to a relentless island-hopping campaign. Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Saipan, Iwo Jima, all steps that would lead ultimately to Japan's defeat.